Hi everyone, this is Katya with Cal&I Designs. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I wanted to share with you how I made these cards using the Stampin' Up's Paisleys and Posies stamp set. I just couldn't get enough of them, so I had to play with them a little bit more. So using my stamp positioner, I am stamping the Paisleys and Posies stamp set on some watercolor cardstock that I inked off camera with different colors of distress ink. So I let them dry and then made sure that the cardstock was completely dry. So I didn't film that, but that's pretty easy to do. I just took the cubes direct to paper. I did not do any sponging. It was fairly quick. So I just let the ink dry and then waited till everything was completely dry before I started putting on my embossing powder. So on each different piece of colored cardstock, I wound up using a different type of embossing powder. So this one is one of the Nouveau embossing powders in the silver one, and I really love it. It's so pretty on camera. It doesn't pick up how vibrant and pretty it is, but it's a fine detailed powder. So I also stamped the sentiment in silver on this one as well too, and it turned out really lovely. So my intention was to take all of these distress colored cardstock pieces that I did on watercolor paper and then use my sparkle shimmer pen from Spectrum Noir to lift up pieces of the color while distributing some of the sparkle behind, and it really didn't work as I had intended. So I wound up doing something entirely different for the last panel that you'll see in green. So my mission was to take the distressed ink panels, emboss them with the different colors of embossing powder, and then take my color shimmer pen from Spectrum Noir to lift up pieces of the distress ink by using a piece of paper towel. So you'll see here in a minute that when I do that, it doesn't lift enough up of the color. So maybe I did something wrong. So maybe somebody can tell me if I did something wrong, or different techniques that you've tried with distress inks to lift up just with water. And I also did try that too, just with water. Maybe I let the paper dry a little bit too much, but in any case, on this particular green panel, I tried something different, and it's a technique that most of you have seen before. So I wound up taking an old paintbrush that I have and dipping that into some bleach, and I love the results. And I wish now that I had done that on all of these, but I still love how they all turned out. They're all very unique and very, very pretty. So here's the green, and I used the gold embossing powder on this one. And then they were all finished being embossed, and you can see on this purple one here that I put way too much sparkle pen. It's a little overkill for me, but I still like how it turned out. And on the pink, I think this one was called the Picked Raspberry, it didn't lift enough of the color on parts of the impressions from the stamp. So again, I just used the bleach for the green panel. So here's the bleach I was using, and I just used the cap from the bleach bottle. I just thought that would make cleanup a little easier. So I take the paintbrush, the old paintbrush, and dipped it into the cap where the bleach is, and I just applied that directly to the cardstock. And I always love the results when you see how the bleach takes the paper and completely changes the color of it. So at first I was getting an orange, as you can see here, and then as I kept on going and the bleach sunk into the paper, it started lifting it even more. So at first I was really excited about the orange color, but then towards the end you'll see that as I applied that directly to the paper and the bleach dried, it turned it to a bright yellow, which is very cool. So here is the final panel, and you can see where I spilled a little bit of bleach outside of those areas, but I didn't mind that because I kind of think it adds to the distressed look of this whole panel. So very pleased. And then I just took my sparkle pen in clear from my Spectrum Noir sparkle pen and applied that directly over the places that I had applied the bleach, just to kind of jazz it up a little bit. And I love the impression. I think it turned out really nice, and I almost wish I had done this technique with the bleach on all of the distressed panels that I had colored. And then I jazz it up too by putting some sequins on the very finished panels, and I did trim them out so that they are a little bit smaller sized than my A2 size front card panel. But on one of these card panels, I decided to take my Versamark ink pen and apply some embossing powder to each edge of the panel. And I only did this one for this purple one. I wasn't thrilled about the outcome of it. And it looks okay here, but it's just not even, and it drives me nuts when it's not even. So I stopped on that one card panel and just left that one as is. I'm also using the sentiment that comes with the stamp set, and at first I did this on a piece of acetate. Then when I went to apply the embossing powder and I put it against the card, it really sort of got lost. So my impression to, or my mission to save this was to take a piece of vellum and put it directly just behind the sentiment so the rest of the clear would be seen on the card, and I thought that would be kind of cool. Now in my stash, I found these really cool square brads, and I couldn't believe my luck, but I found 3 colors that actually match all of the embossing powders for the card. So I wound up using the copper toned ones with this copper embossing powder, and I think it looked really great. It just added to the whole thing. So I poked holes here using this poker tool, and I simply just used that for each one of the brads, but on the other panels I wound up just putting the embossed sentiment directly onto vellum instead of the clear acetate, because I feel like that sentiment sort of gets it takes away from the whole thing. So I think the whole mission now is to make everything look consistent, and I think the embossed sentiments directly on vellum and applying those with the brads turned out a little bit better. I like those better than this purple panel with the gold, but you guys tell me, which one did you like best? So here I am, and here I am applying those brads, trying to get them squared and centered up where I want them, and then I'm going to just trim off that extra piece of acetate hanging over the side on both sides. And then I will take that panel and apply it directly to my card base. And then I will add some sequins to everything just to kind of bling it up for each card, and I think that really kind of finished off the whole card. So here's the purple panel going on the white card base, and you can see that I trimmed it just a tiny bit on each side. I think I took an 1/8 of an inch off of each card panel just so that you would have that nice white crisp border around each panel. I think it turned out nice. So here is the purple panel completely done, and the whole card is completed, and you can see that nice shimmer that you get from the Spectrum Noir sparkle pen. And then here is the final finished card for the one that turned out in green. And I love how crisp those images are on the vellum. It really just set off the whole thing, and I love how that bleach took looks on the green panel. So here's a close-up of all the cards. Let me know what you guys think. Which one do you like better? Which technique would you try? And thanks for watching. Sharing this video if you like it, giving me a thumbs up so YouTube knows that you still want to see these videos from me. Don't forget to subscribe, share, and like my videos. I appreciate you guys stopping by. Thanks so much and have a great day.